Now live. Okay. Hi everybody. Oh my goodness. We're pretty late sending out the reminders to say, hey, we're going live in a minute. Usually I try to do that a couple hours before, but we just sent it out. Hi Kay Hopper. We're up for a really interesting discussion tonight, you guys, and I'm gonna warn everybody. I didn't tell Kat the question yet, but I have us prepared with a tissue because one of my questions might have us and you guys crying. So it's just a sensitive, emotional topic. Not sensitive, it's an emotional topic, I think. So that was the only warning that I gave Kat tonight for this live, where we are reacting on 4 posts, I guess you could say, that we found on the internet that we just find need some explanation or attention. And so I have 2 questions that Kat doesn't know, and she's going to react to them blindly, and she has 2 that I'm going to react to blindly. And we will be starting in just a second. We like to give people a couple minutes to come on, but
so cheers. Hope you have your drink.
Hope you had a good new moon.
Whatever that is.
Yes. Yep.
So I got very motivated for the new moon. I actually made a list.
You did do a lot.
I made a list of like 4 big things that I'm going to do, and I've already done one of them. So yeah, I was like, what is going on with me? And it's like that Leo energy, that sun energy.
Got her going. Me? No, I was I've had low energy for days. I'm like, what is wrong with me? What's happening? I'm not motivated. I mean, there's always the female cycle that can be involved with that, but it's just been a real low energy few days for me. So maybe that's why I picked a question that's kind of emotional and sensitive. I don't know. That could be fueling it a little bit, but
yeah.
Hi,
anybody else in their feels right now with the moon energy, the new moon energy?
Yeah, I mean,
or whatever else is going on.
Well, and Leo is about that ego and kind of being on stage and being the performer and like showing your best parts. And I actually don't know the opposite of like what's Leo's. What do you call that? Like, I don't want to say their negative aspect because
aggressive.
Yeah, like the lower aspect of Leo. I can't think of it, but maybe that's what's more affecting me this new moon instead of bright, shiny, wonderful Leo energy. Hey, Tracy. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm getting through it. And I want you guys to know that, this doesn't happen every day. You guys give us a reason to brush my hair, curl it, put on some
care about what we look like.
We both work from home, so we're not like out in public very often where we do dress up or have a reason to, and you guys give us a reason to actually invoke more of that Leo energy and like be on stage and present. So this is what I'm doing for new moon and Leo. I'm very present for
Kelsey's in her feels. I feel you.
Oh man, grab tissues, babe. Grab tissues. And I'm not even saving it for my second question. Like, I'm getting it up front first. So
okay.
We don't know who's going first tonight.
No, we don't.
Should I just do it?
Yeah, just do
I've already talked
I think you just do it. So we already have 12 people on, and it's 7:03. So I say get started.
We're going to
say hi to you. Hi, everybody. We're so glad to have you here. And are you starting with the emotional one first? Oh my gosh!
We're getting right into it. Then we'll have time to recover and hopefully like end on a lighter note. But I don't really see people put out things that are, I don't know, maybe deep or super personal or kind of like it's truly showing their journey when they can post about something that's like, hey, I'm going through this really tough thing and I'm just looking for help. Like, what do people suggest? Most of the people that we get questions from are newer witches, and they know that they want to honor processes in some way, but they don't know what to do. So you can't look at me, okay?
I'm not. I'm trying to look at the people out there.
And for anybody who has a son, just get ready.
Oh gosh, I have a son.
Me too.
Okay.
You have all grandsons too.
I do. I have all grandsons. Yes.
All right. My 40-year-old son suddenly crossed over, and it was extremely unexpected. And this person wants to know, the way that they phrased it was, what can I do to help him on the other side? With that, it leads me to believe that they were uncertain of his belief system or faith or anything. And so as a witch, thinking spiritually, what can she do to help her son on the other side? I mean, that's like My stomach is flip-flopping because my son's 17. I just don't know. All right, so it's you.
Well, and the thing I think about with Jamie is her son's 17 and has health issues that could be that, could be serious, could be.
He can die from it. You can literally just say that. Like, he has epilepsy,
so he has
could die from it. Yeah.
So he has epilepsy, and it's not under control. The medication's not working. So the very first thing I think about is that, so I can understand how you get like super emotional. But is it possible that a witch cannot react because she's like, what could you do to help your son on the other side?
Did I stump you?
You kind of have stumped me because the things that come to mind for me
say all the things that come to mind.
Yeah, so the things that come to mind for me are that, well, first of all, my belief is when we go to the other side, we're there with the spirit guides. We're welcomed by the people. There's people there to welcome us. So he was not alone.
Yeah.
And so that's number one. So he's not alone. He's with his group, his people, his tribe, his spirits that have been watching out for him. So gosh, the thing that I want to do is like try to help the mom with that. So maybe that's where my mind goes immediately. It's like, what can she do
for herself?
Yeah. And maybe even to let him know that she's here, that or look for signs of him that sorry, forget.
No, I already said I was going to cry on this one. It's okay. Looking for signs from your crossed over loved ones. It's just
don't. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go with the one.
Right? I pre-warned this was going to be a cry sensitive one. It's
okay.
Just,
so looking for signs. So if you have somebody that's crossed over, a child, a parent, a husband,
a pet.
Oh my gosh, pets will break our hearts one day. Then I think what we can do, because I believe that as spirits, when we're on the other side, we are communicating. We do communicate with the people that we left behind to let them know that we're okay. And if we do believe that, then I think one of the things that we can do as people that are left here is to look for those signs. What do we see around us that we think might be a sign from that person? What reminds us of that person that's gone? And when we see those things, then we can acknowledge and be like, I see you, I feel you. And I think that helps you on your journey and certainly helps them on their journey. And if you don't stop, I'm gonna
listen. I'm trying not to look at myself on the camera. I'm
definitely not doing that.
It's
I'm definitely keeping my eyes. So
we're all supposed to die. Remember, like I don't fear death. There's nothing wrong. Like everybody's gonna walk through that door. It's not about the fear of it. It's just when we're left, we're the ones that have to face that. Okay, I can't talk about it.
Okay, well, I know what you're saying because I just answered a question in one of the groups about somebody who had whose friend had lost her husband, and it was like, what kind of things can I do to help my friend because her husband had just passed and and she was young, so it's not when we get older we expect to at some point it's
sad, but like
we're all gonna go. But when you're 30
when
or 40 years old or
it's
50 years old
unexpected.
and you still have a lot of life ahead of you, then that's really hard to accept. But I'm just going to share with you guys what I shared with her, and maybe that'll spark some conversation or thoughts. But what I told her was to get the book Signs by Laura Lynn Jackson and to wait because that is a book about stories about people who've had loved ones crossed over and the signs that they gave to their people that are left here. And how those people recognize. So it's the story of the people who are here and how they recognize the signs and conversations that they'd had with their passed over loved one. And it's really, gosh, that book will make you cry. So I told her to get that, but to wait and time when she gives it to her, because when you first lose somebody, that something like that may or may not be helpful. So you got to be careful with something like that. The second one, it was to put a reminder in your calendar every month for the next year to reach out and do something, even if it's like take a bottle of wine, take her out to dinner, check in on her, go over, spend time. Because being in the death care industry, I know how this happens. People die, and for the first couple of months, all the other people around them are like, oh, are you okay? And they're checking in on them. But then after a couple of months, we get back into our routine, and that sort of fades away, except for the person
who lost their person.
And they're kind of left in their grief without support, because life goes on, and that's just the reality. But that doesn't change for that person. So then the next thing was, if he was cremated, like so many people do, was to buy her a piece of cremation jewelry so that she could carry some of her husband's ashes with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one more, and now I'm going to forget what it was. I had like 4 things, and she, she commented back to my post, and was like, that was really, really helpful. So if anybody else is going through that, who's listening to this, there are some ideas, or know someone, there's a few ideas that you might be able to help somebody who has, like, this person's got a little child over there, and that is,
well, this is a 40-year-old child.
Oh, I thought you said 4-year-old.
No, 40. I'm so sorry. It's an adult child.
Oh, okay.
Adult.
Well, my mother lost a son at 23.
Yeah.
And that's still really young. So I lost a brother who I wasn't really close to. So it traumatized me at the time, but I got over it really quickly. But my mother cried for 10 years, especially on his birthday, especially on his death date. It was, she was in bed, like,
he was the baby, right?
Inconsolable. No, but he was her favorite. So he was the one that would do anything and please her and never go against anything. So he was the good kid. He was, of 6 kids, he was a really good kid that didn't ever do anything bad. And he died in a car accident. So that's, and I don't know if you can talk about it after all of that, but
because my important resource to share, honestly, that changed my life. And this was when I've shared my story before of like really becoming fed up with this world and not wanting to be in it anymore. The psychic medium who really helped change my viewpoint on like what our purpose is here while we're living and what our purposes are when we cross over is James Van Praagh. And anything by him is going to help you see something. And he's just very matter of fact. Like, he's super funny. He does live podcasts and stuff. He's linked to our channel. We love him. He changed my life, and he's what helped me become a witch, like recognize who I am and what I am. So
we got to see him in person a couple of months ago.
Yeah, we got to see him in person. I was going somewhere else to talk, and my biggest advice to when you lose somebody is that, and this is what I've learned from James, is you can't, or not, we can't, spirit cannot connect with us when we're in like pain and fear. So when we're in that pain, grief, it's much harder for them to get through to us because we're not open, we're not able to receive. And that's not to say that we shouldn't be in pain and be grieving or have fears sometimes. But it's when we find ourselves in those really happy moments of remembrance and you're like joyful crying, but it's still kind of sad. That's when spirit can really touch us. In those times of after people have passed over, there's still things to look forward to. And I don't believe that they ever stop trying. Like, I lost my dad 12 years ago and he still comes through all the time. And I'm like, I see you. Like, I know what you're doing. And he helps, give me signs when I'm feeling low like this. Like, Kat and I were just talking, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. And I was telling her, I'm low energy, I'm all these things. And here comes this butterfly, like really fast by the window and then back by a second time. And she's like, see. And I was like, I know, the universe is here for me. Like, I get it. I know. I get the signs.
That did just happen. Yeah, and we say it was close. I mean, it like skimmed the window.
Yeah.
That's how close it was.
I have a big picture window. My 2 chairs kind of like sit and you can face at it. And so it's like, if the window had been open, it would have hit us.
Yes, absolutely.
So that's we're done crying for the night. That's it. That's the big one. But I felt like it was really important to talk about something that real within your spiritual practice, that when you lose people or when people close to you lose people, as witches, as spiritual people, how do we help them? What do we do? And it's offering resources and just being an ear to listen and like open and helping them. If they're closed down and they feel like everything's ending, like these tools can help open their pathway to see something beyond life and death. So that would be that. Okay.
Well, mine is mine's okay. So you guys know where we get these questions from. Like, we go, we're in groups and we see what people are talking about and read things that they ask questions about.
Oh boy.
And
I feel like she's setting this up. So that
I am
it's
kind
like-
of setting this up because,
Okay, well.
all right, I'm just going to go with
spit it
it.
out.
So are you guys ready for this question?
I'm not ready.
Right.
I'm the one who has to answer it.
All right.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm not, but go ahead.
All right.
Because I know there's crazy stuff out there.
There's crazy stuff.
I know. Okay, give it to me.
Why do people want relationships with deities?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just determine that we are living in the real world and not the fictional world or a Hollywood world or somebody with mental health issues. Like, that's not a joke. I'm serious. That people become so disillusioned with their reality that they start creating their own reality, and they are going to present it to people to see, do other people buy into their facade of living this made up life because, they don't want to hurt their feelings and be like, are you crazy? What is wrong with you? Nobody wants to say that to people, especially depending on if these people have already had emotional problems or, I don't want to say mental problems, but problems processing their life here. So when we get lost off our path and shit just doesn't feel right, we start pulling things from everywhere because we weren't originally physical, right? We all know that. We were not, our true form is not this physical body. We are spirits and souls from elsewhere. So for somebody to start fabricating a reality because they don't like this one, I mean, I understand it, and I would hope that, what was the question? Why would somebody have a
Why would somebody
relationship?
want
A
relationships?
relationship?
Well,
Wait, want a relationship with a deity?
want relationships with deities. So it was plural.
Okay,
And
so like, is this like people who marry a pillow? Real question. I'm sorry. Like it's their deity is a spirit entity, and they believe they're having a relationship with it.
that was the tone of it.
That was the
That's
tone.
how
Okay.
and that's how the other people that were answering in the same question.
I think you stumped me. Because that just sounds like mental health issues to me. I don't know. There's like relationship where you, okay. We're gonna simplify this real quick. Okay, ready? Deities are archetypes that exist in our minds and within the world that we can name and see. I mean, as humans, we're an archetype, right? We're the human being. There's like a thing that makes up what is a human being, and you can define that. So it's not like an actual individual or a true spirit, or there's just one of them. It's an archetype of a character that embodies certain things that we want to call in. When we use this on a normal side, not having relationships with them, we call in the embodiment, right? Just like when we use amethyst, we're calling in the things that amethyst is associated with and has been associated with for a very long time, or rosemary that has an extensive history of like medical use and spiritual use. Okay, so these are archetypes of those elements. It means that we give them characteristics sort of like animism, right? Where everything has a spirit, soul, and energy. So if these deities don't truly exist anywhere physically, having a relationship with a made-up thing,
It's fantasy
Yeah.
or mental health.
I miss Jerry Springer because he should have had like a show for things like this. And it could have been something that
I mean, it could
like,
be
how do you
because
explain
it's-
that?
Because it's, like I said, the other people in the thread were answering it as if this person was talking about having like a real relationship, like an intimate relationship, a personal relationship, whatever. That's the sense that I got. And the
Sounds like a
poster,
break from reality.
the poster didn't respond. No, you misunderstood. What I meant is, because as I read this, I thought, well, maybe they just meant like they wanted to worship them or honor them, that kind of a relationship.
right,
But I didn't get
bring
that.
them into their practice.
Yeah, bring them into their practice.
Not like invite them into their bedroom and have a whole scene where they make out with them. Or
Yeah. So to
Take 'em on dates.
sort of hitchhike on what you said about their archetypes and things. If you were to research a deity, you would find that they are based in a lot of them, like in mythology
Yeah.
and ancient times and things like that. So these are like, yeah, they don't exist in our world. So
They
I'm
don't
not
physically
sure.
exist.
They don't physically. So I'm not sure how you can have a relationship with somebody or why you would.
In this sense, like in this sense. Because there's relationship like a spiritual connection where it's in your practice. And if it's the relationship like they tell people they're dating someone.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I'm stumped with that one a little bit. I call bullshit. I don't know. Maybe it's not real. Maybe it's not real.
And people did. They're like, you know.
But you found it. Good job.
The very, very first one was like, you know, when I hear people talk like this, I'm just like, I just walk away. Because it's so absurd. And some of the groups that we follow are like very new witches. And so they're coming in, they're trying to learn in fairness. And a lot of them are, I believe, young and have watched a lot of movies. And so they think that that witchcraft and the practice of witchcraft is like what they see in movies, like with the craft. There was another crazy one, and I'm not even going to bother with it because it was so absurd. I was like, oh my God. It was like somebody pegged it to like a horror movie person, and I'm like, what? Anyway.
Well, I do remember we really did meet a strange person one time. I know. Yeah, I know.
Oh my God, we did.
A couple years ago when we tried to do in-person stuff, we held a meetup in an open public area at a restaurant, and only one person showed up. So we went with it. But he didn't believe in, number one, witchcraft at all, or witches, or spiritualism, or anything. And his biggest confession to us was that the moon is not real. And I was like, okay, I'm not, how do I endure the next hour with this? I don't know. So I just tried to get really curious and ask a million questions about it, because I was like, all right, maybe other people don't ask you to explain that, but I'm going to now grill you on all the ways.
And you know me, I'm over here like this going like.
She's like, can we leave? Can we go? I'm like, no, I'm going to torture him
another
now.
drink because I don't think I can listen to this guy for an hour. But he was crazy. It's like, didn't he say like he didn't eat? He talked about his diet. Like, did he not? He had some very strange.
He wanted to become a breatharian.
Breatharian. What is a breatharian?
I've seen
this is somebody who lives off air, evidently.
Yep, they don't eat. They just eat.
We're human beings that have bodies that need nourishment, require nourishment for calories to function, to pump our blood and our heart. All of that stuff. So if you were to try to be a breatharian and live off the air that you breathe, you're not going to live very long, and you're going to be really hungry.
There are people who do it.
Really?
And then they have other practices that if you guys want to look up breatharian.
I forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, we left there. We're like, yeah, we're just not gonna.
We're like, oh, meeting in person is scary. That's what we thought. We were like, ooh.
It can be. And you know, and the other thing, the guy's like, I don't have any friends, and I'm like, I wonder why.
Well, yeah, he can't, because I was like, well, why did you choose to come to this if you're not a witch, you don't believe in witchcraft, like you don't believe in spiritualism, everything's a conspiracy, the moon's not real, like why are you here? And he goes, I just want to get out of the house and meet people. I'm like, and you thought it would be a good idea to meet us? I was like, okay, well, that's
tell us all
ballsy.
this stuff.
And he did for an hour. And
so there's people that are a little bit.
Listen, I hope they find their purpose. I don't know what their purpose is. I don't know why my purpose is to meet them in these things and talk through them, but I hope they find their purpose. That's all I can do. And then I gotta let it go and move on.
Yeah.
Because we haven't thought about the moon's not real guy in a long time.
I totally forgot about it. Yeah. I blocked that out of my mind.
Well, this just reminded me of that really false fantasy.
Really bizarre.
Yeah.
Like really bizarre. So, okay.
All right. Moving along. Okay.
Next question.
Not a difficult one. We did two. They're like, what? I mean, this took up 25 minutes. Our first two questions. These other ones, I don't think are going to be that difficult. All right.
You don't know what I have in store yet, but anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Well, this one's really funny, because I feel like it's so true in the New Witch community or in groups where people just post stuff all the time. And for a New Witch, it's like, what the hell? Okay. As a New Witch, I see memes saying things like own your power or step into your power. What exactly am I supposed to be doing? Like, what? Like, maybe the concept is there, but like, what am I doing? There you go.
Well, I think memes like that or or suggestions like that, step into your power. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what exactly
What does it mean?
What do you mean? Like, what does step into your power
What
mean?
are the steps to step into my power?
Is it like a coat I'm going to put on? Okay, you've done it again.
I stopped you?
Yeah, because I'm like, how would I? So
How do you answer that?
The first thing. Okay, so
First things
I'm
first.
I'm a hippie. Okay, so you guys know that. So I'm an old hippie. So the first thing I think about when I hear something like that is when women started claiming their place in the world. And they're like, I'm not going to be just a wife. I'm going to go out and, like kind of women's lib type stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like owning or, yeah. And that's not really helpful either when you say owning who you are. It's taking responsibility for the choices that you make, making decisions that are made with intention, thinking through some of the things that you're doing in your life. If your life is sort of hectic and messed up or chaotic and you have toxic people around you, examining those things and saying, okay, this doesn't make me happy. So how do I change it? And then actually taking the steps to change it. To me, that is a description of stepping into your power.
I love that. I think about it in sort of the same way. When somebody says, all right, first off, own your power. Okay, let's examine that statement. If somebody tells you to own your power, it's to understand that you have more worth and more value than you might be exerting, showing, or living up to. Because we all do, right? We all have this life purpose. And sometimes we don't acknowledge it or have the courage to go out there and discover our life purpose. And instead, we live like this very mundane, like, humdrum, I got pregnant at 16. This is my destiny. I've got nothing new. I can't do anything. So feeling like the I can't stuff, I think that that's what it means. And I'm only inspired by your answer to answer this because I didn't know what I was going to say at all. But being able to...
Stump a witch week.
Shit. So being able to stop with the I can'ts and all the things that you think you're limited to, I think that's what it is. It's more about understanding your limitations or acknowledging them or busting free out of limitations and saying, I have no limitations. I can do anything once. I can try anything once. And that's admitting that failure is okay, that you're never going to be good at anything the first time. We were terrified to come on camera. We sometimes still, it's all the things.
The things that you try to be successful and
getting out of the ego.
And understanding that you're going to fail because that's part of life is try, fail, and eventually we get it. Not necessarily try, fail, but you try, that doesn't work. Okay, let me try a different way of getting out of or changing my situation, making my life better. Going to college, I tried it when I was 30 with 3 little kids, and I did it for about 18 months, and then I was like, I can't anymore, and it took me like 20 years to go back. But that was
and she graduated.
I did. So
okay. Well, I figured it out. I figured out what the thing is. For own your power, it means don't let anybody else decide how you live. You decide how you live, no matter the circumstances that you were born into, grew up with. Every single day that we wake up, we have the power to choose who we want to be today. Like, you don't ever have to be yesterday's you. You can be a new you today. And hopefully it's a better you. And that goes out and finds more purpose and you thrive and all those things. So the other part of that was step into your power, which I think goes hand in hand. So maybe it should have been like step into your power first and then own your power, or maybe you got to own it before you step into it. But those memes, she's like, I get that it's supposed to be empowering, but like, what do I do? What am I? What are the things? What does it look like? So I think we answered that really well. I'm proud of us. Okay, what is your question? It cannot stop us. Or me.
So I don't think it will. I think we're all going to know the answer to this, but I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to tell you this first. There's a little backstory that goes with it. So here's the post. My partner used to be really sweet, and now he's angry and mean. I haven't done anything wrong, and I don't think he's cheating, but he is back on drugs, and I want the old man back. So will a freezer spell work to get the guy back that wasn't, I guess, on drugs? And
this is just sad. And this makes me sad. I've experienced people who go from non-drug users they had a car accident, they were given pain pills, they became hooked on pain pills, they forever changed. It changed their lives forever. They're never going to be that same person because once you've been addicted to a pain pill prescribed by a doctor, this is not like he sought this out. It changes you forever, and it's sad, and it affects everybody around you. And when you have an addiction, you do things you would never do it as your normal self. So no, I don't think this is a time for a spell. I think this is time for you to get them serious help or walk away, because number one, you can't save people from themselves. They got to want to do it. And number two, it's not worth your life trying to save them. You need to go out and do the things for your life purpose. Own your power, step into your power. Did I answer all of that?
I think you did, because the question was, I want him back. I want the guy back that he was. But will a freezer spell work? Well, what are you going to freeze?
No, there's no freezer spell.
Well, I see a lot of freezer spell, or cord cutting for these all these serious problems or situations that people are faced with, and the common answer is, well, you need a protection spell, or you need to do a cord cutting, or to get over an ex, you need to do a cord cutting. You know what, you guys, cord cutting. You can't get over your ex with the cord cutting, I'm sorry to say, because that takes time. When you've been with somebody and you've loved someone and you've had experiences with them and you've made a life together with them, and you hung your, I'm speaking from experience here, because I spent, my relationships last a long time when they probably shouldn't have. I should have got out, but I hold on, I'm tenacious like that. I want this to work out so bad, and I keep hanging on and hoping. And
for them to change,
for them to be the person that I want them to be, that I know they can be, because I can see their potential.
Seeing somebody's potential that they're not living up to.
So this wishful thinking, and that's what you finally realize, or maybe, I don't know if I ever really, it's wishful thinking is what it is, because especially when it comes to addiction or cheating. If you have a cheating ass spouse and you're hoping that he's going to stop cheating, and he's been cheating for the 20 years that you've been married, and you think he's going to stop now, he's not going to stop. He has no reason to stop. You've already drawn the line of what you will accept from him, and he's going to keep doing what he wants to do. And that's just an example. So that's my sad story.
I think an important thing that you didn't come to the conclusion with is that when we do spells, when we do work, it is not to change the other person. You can do a freezer spell all you want, but ultimately you're not going to affect their free will. I know that, and that's just our belief in witchcraft, that when you do spells, you're not truly affecting somebody else's free will. You may see changes and influences. You can ask for guidance and help, but that person living in that body, so that spirit and body living together, they have to make those changes. We can influence things, but we cannot change them. That has to be a choice that comes from them. They have to decide it. So our spells, and when people ask for spells, it's like, hey, when you're trying to do a spell to get a result out of somebody else, you're really going about that energy manipulation the wrong way, because you're just giving yourself more hope that I did this thing, now it's going to change. And you're giving yourself more reasons to stay and stay and stay and stay, when really what is happening is that you're getting a lot of red flags that the universe is trying to tell you, this does not work for you. Walk away. When is it enough? How far down this rabbit hole do you have to go before you realize this is not where you want to be?
And, the only way to get, the other thing I thought about is when you have to change yourself. If you want to see a change in someone else, let's say, we had somebody whose husband was very unaccepting of her witchcraft path and wanted to tell her what to do because he was super religious. And I think the advice was to don't use witchcraft, but also to do things to let him, that were your spiritual path, and not overtly witchy. I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry, but it was about changing yourself because if you're doing a dance, it's like this. If you're doing a dance, anybody who's a dancer, you're doing a dance, the dance has steps. This is what happens in a relationship. The dance has steps. The relationship has steps. You know how each other are going to act. When you start changing the dance, when you start doing different steps, that person is has to change your steps because now the dance no longer works. So you can relate it to something
They have
similar.
to change their steps, or they got to walk off the dance floor.
Yeah. And so the change that happens may not be what you want. And sometimes we change things up because we think if we change something that we're doing, we're going to affect the other person. And I think that's the part that's really hard to let go of, is that we can't change other people. And
that
so
we actually don't have control.
We don't have control.
Over
And
other
spells
people.
aren't going to give you control.
It's not about controlling other people.
Yeah.
It's about being able to control ourselves. I think what spells really do, like cord cutting spells, I've never personally done one, but they've been in my face a lot lately, and I'm like, maybe I need to do one. I have a person who keeps popping back into my dreams and all kinds of shit that's gone on. I'm like, oh my gosh, is it time? Like, I've never done one before. Maybe I should do one. So it has me thinking, like, I really want to sever this. Like, I want to never think about them again. I wish they wouldn't pop up into my life. I wish people wouldn't hear from them and say something, all the things. But when we do a cord cutting spell, I want you to know that if I did one, what my expectation would be is that I'm changing something mentally for me. It's not that there's like, they're never going to try to contact me again, but that hopefully it doesn't get through to me.
You're going to change your reaction to when you hear about them, or they pop in, or
brush it off.
They no do something. The school calls again to tell you that their kids need to be picked up, and you're like, can you please take my name off of the emergency contact list? I don't have anything to do with
all those
anymore.
things. Yeah, so spell work is really for our change. And when we do a spell, we're committing to something. We're giving it that time and attention to say that we want an outcome, and we're dedicating time, space, energy, a jar of herbs, a crystal, whatever it is, but you're dedicating something as that talisman, an enchantment to say, this is a representation of the future that I truly want. And this other reality that I'm living right now, I'm trying to change it because I don't want it. I want this other thing.
And the future that you really want has to be your future in whatever the universe is guiding you toward. If you're trying to change your future along with this person to be with you in some happily ever after, when you've got all these signs from the universe telling you to run like hell, you're doing it wrong.
Or, if you did a spell for them to be happy and trying to wish happiness on them, because positivity can work in that way, right? Like I said, we can influence those things. And then they finally leave. And guess what? The decision was made for you. So now you can move on. Like, that has happened to people that I know where they're like, I just want him to be happy already. He's never happy. He's never happy. But then he left. And it was, she's devastated. I'm like, well, he was not happy with you. It's something that you're going to have to work through. That the reason why your relationship was so bad is because he was not happy there. Even though you wanted him there and you thought you guys were happy or you could be happy, he wasn't happy there. He needed something else. And, you're going to have to now work on that. So then we do shadow work. So, yeah. Okay, that's all for the questions.
That's it. And look, we're early tonight.
No, it's, 7:37.
7
minutes over, but earlier than 7:45. So. Yeah. We hope you guys enjoyed these questions. Oh my gosh. We stumped each other tonight.
We did. We really did.
That's good. We only have 3 more left, I think. Or two more left.
2 more.
And then starts the tarot course, which I can't wait for. We've been doing so much tarot work, you guys.
We have been doing a lot of work.
I never
I just want to say to anybody listening to this, you can never have too many tarot books. Okay. I've come to the conclusion. Jamie has none. All right. I probably have 5 now. And every time I buy another one, I'm like, I learned something from it, because each book is that author's perspective and interpretation of what the cards say. So anyway, that's what we're working on. We're going to be back here next week. Tracy, we can't wait. We're so excited.
We're so excited.
We are so excited. We have so much to share. We've learned so much.
Yeah.
Jamie has a whole new appreciation for the Rider-Waite-Smith deck.
I do.
Which is what we're going to be using.
Yes.
So,
which I haven't used in years and years and years, you guys.
It's very exciting. We can't wait. And we'll see you back here next week for another Witch Reacts. We hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody. Bye. Thanks for being here. Oh, my God.